Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 32nd Annual Sedona International Film Festival. I'm your host, Carol Kahn. We are coming to you live on YouTube and also our media studio at Yavapai College. We'd also like to thank all of our sponsors and volunteers, specifically our title sponsor, Mercedes-Benz of Northern Arizona. And we are known as the Filmmakers Film Festival, which I would like to introduce to you Matt, one of our filmmakers here at the festival this year. And Matt, please introduce yourself and your film.
My name is Matt Hames, and I'm the director of A Life Outside American Mountain Guides.
And tell us a little bit about it, because it seems like it's the perfect scenario place for you to be in the outdoors of Sedona.
It is, yeah. Sedona's beautiful. We came in late at night, and I didn't even get to see the mountains until the next morning, and I woke up, and it was so beautiful, so we went on a short hike and everything. But yeah, Life Outside is about the beginnings of mountain guiding and how mountain guiding as a profession started in North America with a guy named Paul Petzold, who was kind of an outsider Wyoming guy, a little bit of a cowboy redneck guy who started mountain guiding people. And it goes back and forth between a modern guided climb up the Grand Teton that we filmed, and as we climbed, we filmed it, and then it kind of jumps back in time to tell Paul Petzold's story.
Awesome. And so, do you find any differences between the way things were done before or is it the same? Just like we were talking about technology and media, it seems like it's kind of the same.
Well, I think there's a lot of similarities, but some major differences. And mountain guiding really began in the world in the Alps and Chamonix, and became professionalized in France and Europe earlier than America. And so when it started in North America, it was a little bit more, should we say, adventurous, kind of ad hoc. Guides would take people up mountains and get paid a little bit of money, not very much money to live off of, whereas in the Alps it already was established as a profession with a guild and kind of an organization and training, and they had to go through lots of schooling. And in North America now, it's a little bit more like it was in Europe at the time. So we're just basically a couple hundred years behind them.
Just for a second, right?
Yeah, but we're catching up. And then also, there's a lot of stuff that mountain guides here then went back and taught European mountain guides. So the film talks a little bit about that too, but it's mostly concerned with the oldest guide company in North America, which is called Exum in Wyoming.
Okay, so we do have a clip of the film, so let's take a look at that and we'll talk some more.
Now, sure, there's danger. I don't think that the young people are fleeing from anything. Boy, I think they're facing reality. I think our generation are the ones living in the dream world.
If I could do something like this for 3 weeks in the middle of nowhere, I can get through whatever's going on at home.
Paul Petzold is a legendary American mountaineer. In 1965, Paul Petzold founded the National Outdoor Leadership School in Lander, Wyoming, to teach young people self-reliance and an appreciation of wild places.
Young people need adventure, and this is a happy way to get it.
Paul Petzold, he effectively became the first mountain guide in America.
Paul started the climbing guiding business in the Tetons. Later, he brought in Glenn Exum.
When Exum started, it was just the two of them. Over time, it has just steadily grown. And then Paul Petzold went on to start Knowles, which also has had a huge impact on Americans getting into the outdoors at a younger age.
His legacy of exploration and adventure just lives on in the Tetons.
Oh wow, look, is that it?
There it is, yeah.
I'm a little worried. This is going to be the most difficult hike I've ever done, I think.
Come on, you got it. Important thing here is to not let your son outclimb you. Yeah, Shazam!
I believe that part of the human DNA is exploration.
Mountaineering is freedom.
Whatever you're looking for, you can find in the mountains. It's where I can push the envelope of what I am as a human.
We live in this really busy world. Just that ability to connect with nature and also to connect with people, you make stronger relationships than I have experienced outside of the wilderness.
Yeah, I think I've been able to connect with people a lot faster than I might in day-to-day life. It's like a higher level than I might normally.
I mean, accidents can happen. You can get hit by a rock, avalanches, storms, lightning. The element of risk in our profession is profound.
That means you can die. You still want to go? Really?
And if you're a mountain guide, ideally, when things go well, as they most often do, you get to see people on the best day of their lives, and that part doesn't get old. It's really cool.
If you're to be in the mountains, you are lucky enough.
Maybe it's even better than LSD.
Okay, so I have to ask you, did you actually climb to the top of that?
So I went all the way to the saddle of the Grand and didn't do the ropes part, but I had a crew with me, and two of them continued up with the ropes portion of the summit. So I climbed it, a good chunk of the Grand. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like watching that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God.
your palms sweating a little bit.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. It was definitely some tricky filmmaking because we were filming in a national park and we had to get the permits and all those kinds of things. So once we were able to do that, there were some rules that we had to follow, like we couldn't use drones to film anything. So we had another team actually climb another mountain around the same time as us, staggered so that they could be on the other peak, which is called Middle Teton, filming back towards us so that they could get the establishing shots. And it was a lot of risk that we had that we wouldn't really line up and we wouldn't really get the shots that we needed, and thank God we did. So,
yeah.
And no one got hurt, so
Thank
that's
goodness.
the best thing. Yeah.
It's amazing because we live here in Sedona, so there's like tons of hiking trails and mountains, and people, I've seen people trying to wear flip-flops walking on sandstone, and those mountains are sandstone, so it's very slippery, and people get hurt all the time here. So thank God that there weren't any injuries like going at that, but I don't think people really understand like what that's all about.
Yeah, this is the first sort of adventure filmmaking thing I've done. I've done about 20 documentaries, and this is the first time I've done something that there's a real physical risk with like hazard pay and things like that with the crew. And so everything really went smoothly, but it was just a lot of moving parts and pieces. And I had a couple of really great producers to work with, Beth Hames, who I'm married to, and then Laura Utt, who kind of coordinated things. And then we had the full participation of the Exum Mountain Guide Company, which gave each of the crew members their own guide so that we could make sure that we were doing things safely. And so I'm just really big on mountain guides. I think more people should utilize guide services as opposed to going solo.
Interesting that you said that. When I came here I was visiting Sedona at the time, so this probably is going back about 11 years ago, but I did meet with a guide because I was writing a story about Sedona and about hiking. And interesting, one of the things that he said to me, which is kind of like the theme in your film, which stuck with me for even to this day, is that nature heals. And being in nature, nobody really understands the effect of like what it's like to be amongst the trees or outdoors or hiking, and it really changes your whole entire perspective.
Yeah.
So did you find that too in putting this together?
Definitely, yeah. And there's a long history of religious people going into the mountains to find God, and there's stories in the Bible about people going into the mountains, and there's that's no accident that there's always been a kind of spiritual connection with mountains, because people, they bring into it often whatever they're going through, and the guides don't necessarily know what someone is going through. It could be that you're climbing to kind of overcome grief, or it could be that you have something going on in your life, and the camaraderie too with the other climbers. If you're in a group, especially, like I'm big on group climbing, even with people that you don't know, who maybe you don't agree with or get along with outside of the hike, but nature can also be this equalizing force that kind of like makes you realize you can put your differences aside. So I think the outdoors can heal all kinds of things, like internal divisions, and then also like our nation's external divisions too.
Yeah, it seems like, it's more of a team, like you were saying, you're with a group, right? So it's like a team effort. Like, there's the I part, because the I part is that you're actually, whatever it is that you're going through, you're healing yourself. There's a sense of accomplishment when you get to that particular point thinking you're not going to make it, but you make it. And then the team effort is if someone's struggling from behind, it's always like cheering them on. Come on, you could do it.
Yes, exactly.
And get to that point.
Yes, yeah, and you sometimes, you have to take someone's hand and let them pull you up, or you have to do that with someone else, or you have to hold someone else with a rope, and there's nothing more trusting than like letting a stranger from another place who maybe has different politics than you, but letting them hold you and like they're what's keeping you between life and death. And so I think it's just a great thing, and I saw a lot of that when I was making the film, and guides can facilitate that also. They can kind of create that and that atmosphere for people to find that camaraderie and that healing.
Do you feel like that those guides have to have some kind of intuitive nature about themselves to get, because I feel like that if there's a group of 10 people, let's say, everybody's not all the same, so they have to have some kind of intuitiveness of that group of 10 people to figure out or to zero in on someone who may be feeling a certain way about something.
Yeah, and guides, in addition to having to be good alpinists and mountaineers on their own, you could be a really great mountaineer or a great alpinist and go climb Mount Everest, but you may not be a good guide if you don't really like people, and also if you can't read people. So I think that the qualities that I saw in the film, and I try to show in the film, where guides can sort of take stock of the whole situation and do risk mitigation while they're also making calculations about who they should put in the front and who they should put in the back, and who needs to be talked to right now, who do they ask questions, and then who do they kind of let them be by themselves. And then just kind of facilitating the group and like the rest stops, and then figuring out how to get off the summit by the time the bad weather rolls in. There's just a lot going on.
And in doing this particular film, because you said it was a little bit different than what you've done in the past, how has this, outside of the filmmaking process, how does this changed you personally? What has this done for you?
I think I realized in making the film that you can take with you the things that you achieve in the outdoors into your own personal life. So in other words, you may go climb a summit that is very difficult. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to become an alpinist, but you might take the confidence that you gain from that back into your job. You might be like running a small business or something, and you might take that confidence with you into that business, or maybe relationships that you have where there's some kind of insecurity. You can gain this confidence from being in the mountains, and also I think just clarity of thought. I think just unplugging, being off social media, just not having access to phones. That's why I'm like not a fan of like how much reception now we're getting in national parks, but being able to unplug and fully be present, because there's really nothing like the risk of dying to make you present in the moment. If you're at risk, you're going to be focused on what your hands are doing and what your feet are doing, and which doesn't really leave you a whole lot of time for abstract thinking, like we all do now because we're so divided with social media.
Right. There's a beautiful trail here in Sedona. It's called West Fork. I don't know if you've...
I haven't done that yet.
Okay, so West Fork, you have to crisscross like 13 little streams. One is a bigger stream. But the lesson that stream taught me was that like you have these rocks that you have to like kind of jump across. And so, everyone's kind of like standing there like trying to anticipate the next step, right? Like, oh, like I've got to go here. But there was something that came to me that said, oh, like you just have this vision, like look and see ahead, right? And so you see the rocks. So it was like, my friend called me a gazelle because I was like just leaping across, and they're like, how did you do that? And it was like the whole Yoda thing. I was like listening to Yoda, like, just do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking Yoda, I'm thinking Indiana Jones and
Yes.
The Last Crusade, these steps of trust that you have to do. But yeah, I mean, you get more in touch with your body. So it's like one character in the film says it's a metaphysical thing. Being in the outdoors is metaphysical, but it's also purely physical. And sometimes when you get more in touch with your physical body, you just like learn to trust yourself. So you're like, if you don't overthink it, then sometimes you can pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love the lessons that you have learned and that you brought forth. So where can people see the film?
So right now we're only doing festivals exclusively, but the film is a PBS film. It was actually a Wyoming PBS production that they partnered with me on. And this summer, the film will be on PBS all over the country.
Nice, nice. And then what about here in the Sedona Film Festival?
Oh, specifically here in the festival. Yes, we are showing on Tuesday night. You'll have to help me with the date. What is today's date?
The 23rd.
Yeah, so this would be Tuesday the 24th at 7 p.m.
Okay.
And it's one of the theaters, the Harkins or something like that. Yeah.
So check out your books or look online. You can find Matt's film and make sure that you watch it. It's a beautiful film. And I want to say thank you. And you're also on social media, so people can follow you on that as well.
Yes, Matt Hames, Matt with one T, which is apparently how my dad thought it was spelled when he filled out the paperwork. So just one T, but Matt Hames is social media stuff.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Matt, thank you so much for bringing your film here, and to your wife for coming here to Sedona. And I know that we'll be seeing you again over and over, right?
Appreciate that. I hope so.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what happens here at the film festival here in Sedona, is that we have repeat filmmakers year after year, and it just makes it a beautiful time for all of us. And so make sure that you follow us on YouTube throughout the week. We'll have all of our interviews live. And thank you again, Matt, for being with us and bringing your wonderful film here to Sedona.
Thanks. I love the festival. It's an honor to be here.
Awesome.